All right, so welcome along, Gil. It's great to have you here today. So before we get into it, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and your family?
Myself and my family. Well, I've got 6 children, 2 grandchildren, and basically got into doing this through taking them out to go and get a practice bag one Saturday afternoon. And now we've turned over 200,000 balls. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I love the fact that you got your family involved into it.
Yeah. It was fun having 5 girls and 1 boy, and 1 boy having to beat all the girls.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of competition there, right?
Perfect stock way to source your stock. It's great. Yeah.
Nice.
In the good old days, it used to cost us a fluffy after getting balls. Cheapest stock I ever got.
Yeah, that's always easy when they're young though, isn't it? Probably a little bit more now to take them out.
It's tougher as they get older.
Yeah.
The girls, yeah. I don't like the mud anymore.
No. So let's talk a little bit about golf. So tell us about your golfing career.
Oh, been fortunate enough to be overseas and play in America, across Africa, obviously down in New Zealand. So I've played a lot of places. Growing up in South Africa, we had a fantastic junior arrangement over there, and was fortunate enough to grow up with Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, who both went on to become world number ones in America, playing on the PGA over there. So I grew up with some really fantastic golfers, had a lot of competitive golf in our later teen years, and definitely a game that's given me a lot. And that's why what we do, trying to give back to the courses and to the game itself. Yeah, by exploring different options with the balls that we can do, like the women's golf that you're doing at the moment with the community. It's just a way for us to give something back to the game that has changed and given me a lot of value in life, I suppose. It's a very enjoyable part of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Very good. And I love the way that you always like to be able to give back. There's something, that's what I've always seen in you, Gil, is that your passion is to be able to give back. So
the more we can open golf courses up to the wider community and more people get involved in the game, will understand the beauty of the game. It's something you can have in a short-term social, or it can be something that you play 36 holes in a day, just depends on where you feel the game fits you. And anyone can play it. And that's the greatest part about it. With the handicap system, you can still be competitive with someone who's brand new to the game, versus someone who may be a fantastic scratch golfer. They can still compete against each other with the way the course and the game works. So, and the freedom of nature, I think, is a big part of why I love giving back to the golf courses and trying to help them, get better at managing the native environment here in New Zealand, because it is a very unique country and it's got some amazing stuff that it can offer.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit, I mean, we spoke about how you went out and got the first sort of ball, bag of balls with the kids. So what made this, or how did this build into a business for yourself?
I went out on the Saturday and we found about 70 balls. And the next day the kids were like, "Oh, Dad, can we go do that again?" And we found the mud flaps down at Huapai Golf Club. And we came back with 650 odd balls at that stage, I think it was.
Wow.
Great practice bag for me initially. So I jumped on Trade Me at that stage and saw there was small, pockets of used golf balls being sold, and we just started selling there really on a hobby type basis, because online selling was nowhere near what it is today. And for about 5 years, we just struggled through, basically selling maybe 500 to 1,000 balls a month. And then about 3 years ago, online shopping, the mentality of basically the entire population shifted to a trustworthy base of online shopping. And we took off. And then COVID hit. And then when they dropped from level 4 to level 3 and golf was allowed, the business just really took off. And that's when we actually turned it into a limited liability company, because of the volume that we were able to retrieve as well as be able to recycle. And coming up this year, we'll be over 200,000 balls in a year of recycled, what would be non-biodegradable waste. Yeah.
So, waterways and polluting our waterways. Yeah.
Exactly. Unfortunately, the older balls, they do break down. especially balls that are older than 40 years, they still have a centralized core and then they have rubber bands around them. Well, these things do break down and they aren't good for the environment. So we need to get those out of the way. But a ball that goes into water that can quickly be recycled will have no damage at all to it. So it actually makes it a far better playing ball in the recycling side. In the long term, it's good for everyone, the golf course, the waterways, the people wanting to buy cheap golf balls and experiment with different types of balls. What we offer is an opportunity to try a certain ball at a much lesser cost than it would be to go out and buy. Because you can't really trial a ball unless you've got about 6 to 10 of them, because you could lose, 3 in the first hole. We've all done it. So no point going out and getting 3 brand new balls, lose them all in the first hole, then you haven't actually tried the ball. So that's where I see the opportunity, but that was the opportunity that we saw. That's why we didn't go into bulk selling. We went right down to the 6s and the 10s of a certain make, model, and try to get them as close as possible in grade. And it's just slowly taken off, and then boom, the last 3 years has been, non-stop. Yeah. So that's how it came about. Yeah.
And I think that's great too. I mean, there's a huge amount of balls that I can pick up, and I grab my golf balls off you, and I can have they might last me a month if I'm lucky. Some days are better than others.
We're all in the same boat. And you have days where you play golf, and that's the beauty of the game, is you can go out and play a whole round of golf or 2 rounds with the same ball and just not lose it, and then the next round you can go out and lose 6.
Yeah.
And what has changed? Just probably your golf swing for the day, and not really the ball. It's not the ball's fault. But playing with the right type of ball around your game, where your game's at, will actually help. Everyone wants to play the best ball available, but the best ball available may not be the best ball for your game. And that's something that I'd like people to take on board, because it actually will help their game over a period of time. One of my big faults was coming over the ball. So I was hitting big slices of the watts. Well, playing with something like a Pro V1 or a Pro V1X, which is designed to actually accentuate spin, is making my shot not just bad, it's making it way worse. Whereas I came back to a ball called a Tour Soft, which is a Titleist, less accentuated spin, but kept me more in line with the hole I was playing. So maybe I was only 1 hole over instead of 2. And slowly your game actually does get better when you're playing with something that matches where your swing and where your tempo and your consistency is at. And it just comes down to people just need to work out in themselves what feels good for me, because one ball may not feel good for one player, but it could feel fantastic for another player. It's just what you prefer. How do you prefer how it comes off the driver? Do you prefer how it comes off your irons? Do you prefer how it comes off in your short game wedges? Or do you prefer how it comes off the putter? I personally, if it comes off the putter good, that's the ball I like. I like a ball to feel good off my putter.
Right.
Because to me, it's one of my weakest areas, so I've got to feel the strongest in it.
Yeah.
Ripping it off the tee, whatever I hit, I'm going to be within 10, 15 meters in distance. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So for me, it's
that precise.
Yeah. For me, it's more about the putter and the short game. It's got to feel good off those clubs. And if it doesn't, it's just, change the ball.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we'll talk about those different sort of golf balls again as we talk through and get you back on. But what is something that you'd really like people to know about secondhand golf in your business?
Well, I'd like people to know.
Yeah.
We're a business and we're profit driven. That's what we've got to do. Otherwise, we'd be out of business. But our primary thing is to get into golf courses and get the recycling going, because we can make a huge impact across the country. My thing is they're sitting there wasting away and actually doing harm to the environment. Whereas if secondhand golf gets onto a course and is recycling, the balls are now becoming there's value to the golf club, depending on the volume they've got, what we can pay them for it. So we actually pay them money back. If we're doing work around the golf course, that is subsidized even more through the systems we've got available. So we can do work, help them clean up, and get the balls and operate a profitable business. So it's a win-win for all sides of the equation, which is rare in business, because it's very hard to take something that's actually a waste product and turn it into a profitable entity, which is what we're doing. And it's a non-biodegradable item. So the recycling value of that is huge. So that's why I encourage people to sit down and talk to us, especially golf clubs, and let us get in there, let us clean it out, and then we can maintain it so much better as well. So an overgrown waterway that we can go in initially and sort out for them, we can maintain it for a long, long period of time just off the recycled golf balls that are coming in. And that could no cost to the club. The waterway is healthy, and you've got no non-biodegradables sitting in your water. And exotic, and as you know, as we go around, we pull exotic plants if they're in excess, and we remove noxious weeds. So yeah,
it's great to see the improved bird life and biodiversity.
oh, absolutely.
That comes just as a natural result of pulling out all those golf balls and non-biodegradables, and extra plastics and things that we find in there as we go along.
Yeah, it also helps with because unfortunately plastics often can actually create dam type situations, so you end up with a lot of stagnant water. With us consistently going through a golf course, we eventually remove all that element. And once the water is able to flow, healthy water is water that flows. The stagnant water is very seldom healthy in comparison to flowing water. So, and that way you can lessen the effects of erosion as well, just by continually having the water run in the waterway, rather than trying to find new ways around stuff that is blocked up or dammed up the water. So it's all these benefits in the long run, but it hasn't been done in New Zealand for over no one has actually done this on the scale that we do it. No one has maintained these waterways. Not some golf courses do, don't get me wrong, but ones we're working with, most of them haven't been maintained for 50 years. So 50 years of crap and it's not running where it used to run. So erosion becomes a big problem. And on golf courses, they're not careful. There are some of them where we can see already it's going more and more into the actual fairway, into the golf playing area, because water will choose the path of least resistance. Yeah. So we want to avoid that and give golf courses what they've got and maintain what they have. And in the same time, as you say, the more we clear out, the more space there is, the more healthy water, the more bird life, the more every bit of life that comes along. And with us working with DOC and the trapping that's going along with golf courses around the country, it's fantastic. It's removing all the elements that we want out of New Zealand in our, I think it's their 2030 plan. Yeah. 2050, yeah. So if we can work alongside that, which we do in many, many ways, and it doesn't cost the golf course a huge amount of money, getting money out of the government or the councils is very tough. So we'll leave it at that at the moment. So we can do something while everyone else is sitting around trying to find a solution. We found a solution that doesn't cost anyone a lot of money.
Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I love the way that we've got so many different groups working together for the same cause.
Yeah. The more people that keep talking, it doesn't always necessarily mean we get, obviously money's got to come out of it some way, but working towards goals like we are with, for the example, Whangaparoa, and them working with us to raise money to do the job is just a win-win situation for everyone again. It's all about the golf course benefiting as well. We don't just want to benefit. We know that we can A, pay them back for the balls, B, we can help them raise the money and do things that help them improve their course. And when their course improves, of course, more people want to play it, and it's only an upward slope for everyone from there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So tell me the best thing about secondhand golf.
The best thing for me personally is the freedom to be on a golf course every day of my life. That's what I love about secondhand golf, is I get an excuse to be on a golf course every day. I wish I was playing more than collecting balls, but that's immaterial. I'm still, every day of my life, I get to sit on a golf course. The other things I enjoy about secondhand golf is the fact that, hey, if you don't like something, we'll give you 100% money back guarantee, because someone else will buy the balls. We're not there to coerce or convince people that we're the best under the sun. If you like playing with a new ball, I support it. I need people to play with new balls, because otherwise we wouldn't have second-hand balls. So we work with everyone in the industry. We actually give them a better ability to sell more of their product. And that's what I enjoy. There's no one, we don't take from anyone. And that's what I love about our business, second-hand golf. It's like we get the balls and we sell them, but we don't actually take anything from anyone. We can only help. And the clubs that do work with us, do find that we do things well and above what we actually agree to, because it simply is, it's there, so we might as well just do it. It's easy to do something when you're just there picking up golf balls, clear that piece of plastic away, take out a big log that's blocking up the waterway. It's not hard for us to do. So that's the benefit. I can do things without costing anyone any money while we're in the process of actually creating our own income. So yeah.
Stop people from buying new golf balls, right? Because we, as a business, the secondhand golf, run off the fact that people go out and buy golf balls, you know, and put them in the waterways.
Exactly.
So we can collect them.
Yeah. See, where I see we fit in is we help people select a new ball for themselves, you know. So you use our product for a while. When you establish, yeah, I like this ball, buy some new ones. There's no harm. I love playing with a brand new ball in my first tee from a tournament. But when I'm playing socially on a Wednesday afternoon and I want to hit 2 or 3 balls to check my shot, I don't want to be hitting, you know, 3 brand new balls. I'd much rather be hitting 3 secondhand balls that have cost me $1.50 or $2 in comparison against $4.50 or $5.
Yeah.
And that's the simplicity of what we chase. But do we want to be in competition with new balls? No, not at all. They're not our competition. We're here to supply people an opportunity to find that new ball that they want. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, Gil, so tell me, what is your favorite golf course and why?
I love my home course, Herby. I've played some great courses around the world. Don't get me wrong, I could go on for hours about great courses. But what I like about Herby for me personally is the fact that you can play it off the white tees, and it can play like a really fun, easy golf course, and you can shoot mid-70s pretty easily. But then you go to the blue tees and the course changes completely. It goes from being a very moderate test of golf to an extremely tough test of golf. And that's what I love. So, you know, when your game's really together and you want to challenge yourself, you can play off the blue tees and really see where your game's at. Or if you just like stiff, like a lot of us old guys, the white tees and a quick zipper rounds are a lot more fun rather than, and the blues, I mean, I've shot rounds off the blues in the low 70s, and then I've shot rounds off the blues in the 90s, you know, off the same handicap. No difference in the handicap. It wasn't the handicap of the game or anything. It's just that's how tough the course can be, and especially with which way the wind blows. So because it's on a peninsula, so it's onto the Watermata Harbour there, you can get some real tough blows in the wrong direction. It makes like some par 3s you can't get there with a driver off the blues. So it gives you a good challenging course. So that's why I love that course. But there, I went around the world. There's a lot of great courses as you travel around the world, especially. I can comment a lot on South Africa, especially, and America on the West Coast. But yeah, Europe, you know, there's a lot of courses I'd love to have played. So yeah.
So there's still a few that you'd like to put on your bucket list?
Absolutely. I mean, New Zealand's got Golf Harbour, for example. That is a fantastic golf course. Tough. I haven't played it for many years, but the last time when I was in like much better form as a golfer, struggled around there just to break 75 every time we played. It's just a tough course, you know. And then there's great courses like Titirangi. One of the courses I really enjoyed in New Zealand, which will blow people away, is the course in Tamaranui. And funny enough, I'd actually heard about Tamaranui when I was in the States. And I had no idea, no intention of coming to New Zealand at that point. It's just funny that I actually heard it. And eventually a friend of mine took me down and played it. And it is probably one of the most beautiful natural courses I've ever played. It's just the way it's set up. It's just an incredibly cool course. Yeah, so New Zealand's got a lot of hidden gems in that sort of thing. And yeah, they may not be all 18 holes, may not all be challenging, but there are some that are just fantastic. So yeah.
Nice. All right. So how about your favorite golf club?
Which in my bag?
Yeah.
Whichever one goes straight that day. I probably, if you asked me to hit it, Garrett, I'd pull my wedge from 100 meters. I'd pull, if you wanted the most accurate shot, I'd pull my wedge from 100 meters. I'll generally be within, I'd say, probably about 10 meters of the target. It's my most reliable club. Yeah, so that would be my favorite at the moment. It used to be my 6-iron, but I can't hit it that good anymore. So, yeah. The more you practice, though, definitely the clubs become more way. You get more affinity with the club, and it will be clubs in your bag that you just go to because you trust it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I still struggle with most of my golf clubs, but when I first started out, my 3-wood and I didn't get along at all, so I wouldn't pull it out. But I just sort of one day decided that every time I go to pull out my 5, I'm going to actually grab my 3-wood and just get playing with it and just consistently play with it until I could master it. And I think now it's become one of my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
All
You
right.
do have to find that mix. 3-wood's is a good one, but a tough one as well, because the 3-wood you can hit off the tee, and it's also a club that you need to be able to master off the fairway. If you can master your 3-wood off the fairway, man, you've got some distance in your bag that most people don't have.
Yeah. I think sometimes I can get a better drive with my 3-wood.
Mhm.
I'm still trying, as you know, I'm a beginner golfer, so even trying to get the golf ball off the driver high and get some, and is tough, but I can pull it, grab my 3-wood and get some good distance. So sometimes I actually just do that.
A lot of golfers initially, a lot of teachers used to teach, don't even pull the driver. Use your 3-wood as you're driving club right throughout the whole round of golf. Every par 4, every par 5, hit a 3-wood, because you'll keep yourself in the game on the fairway. And the driver, of course, can spread a lot worse. And a lot of teachers built their games around that. I know a lot of guys growing up in my age group that a 3-wood was just the absolute bullet. That was their go-to club. Yeah, because they could trust it. They knew it.
Dump off the ground a little bit with your tee or something, and just get right under it.
You're not teeing it up like that with some of the drivers, it's like right under it. But the 3-wood is something it's a good club, and if you can master it, you've got so many extra shots in your bag. Because the amount of par 4s, especially in New Zealand with the wind change, you can play a par 4 in the morning and it can be driver wedge, and you come back in the afternoon, the wind's shifted the opposite direction, and it's driver 3-wood to that same par 4. It's still 340 meters long, but it's changed dramatically. So 3-wood's a great one to master. The other one, I think, is the mid-range, and it comes down to practice though as well. If you practice enough with your clubs, and you do, it's not just about practicing, it's about good practicing. Knowing that this is what especially if you've got a teaching pro with you and you're working with a pro, learn to follow those instructions, learn to use your videotaping. It will speed up your advancement in golf so much. I mean, when I got into the game, someone used to stand behind us and say, you're doing this, this, and this wrong. It's very, very hard to work out what you're doing wrong when someone's words are telling you, but using your iPhones and video that's available today and jump on, listen to the guys on YouTube. There's a lot of free information out there. Not every bit of information is good for you. You've got to try and work it out yourself, but using the technology and comparing what you can see off video to what you're actually doing in your swing, huge difference, and can really advance your game very, very quickly. Yeah.
Great advice. All right, and finally, just to wrap up, your favorite quote.
My favorite quote. Yes, so many of those. Oh my gosh. What would be in relation to golf?
And in relation to anything.
Oh, that's a beauty. I've never thought about what's my favorite. I've got so many that I do enjoy. I just scroll through my Facebook and give you a few.
All right,
but
I
think it's just belief. I think it's just how I live my life in a lot of ways, is just believe that it can be done and get on and do it. I suppose favorite quote, I'd have to wrap that up into live in faith, not fear. Yeah, that would probably sum up exactly how I live my life and everything else. Live in faith, not in fear. Yeah.
Live forward.
Yeah, move forward.
Yeah.
It's still going to be there.
All right, Gil. So really appreciate your time there. If people want to find out more about you and secondhand golf, where do they go?
Well, you can jump. Our Trade store is probably the best one to go to. It gives you a range of what's available at the time. We have a lot of stock over and above that. We have so many people that have got pre-orders. If you're interested in something that's not there, send us a message. We can tell you what's available in it. And you'd be surprised, we probably do have it, but it's just that we haven't got to listing it yet, because there's so many makes and models available. Sometimes people just don't understand. They go, what's a good ball? Well, what's a good ball for what? There's probably over 400 different balls. So get on there, have a look around. If there's something that grabs your eye, or if you've heard of something, send us what you've heard, and we can give you our information and make the best decision for your game from there. It really is an individual thing, because if you're not long off the tee, you want one type of ball. If you're very long off the tee, but you want more control, there's a different type of ball. How many shots, are you hugely spreading your shots, or are you consistent? You know, there's so much to selecting a ball that it's just really a personal thing. But there are some things we can guide them through, and majority of the main brand stuff is up on our Trade Me store, or you can check out the Facebook page, either one, and then message us directly, and we'll give you the best advice we can.
Fantastic. So I will put all those links into the notes for anybody that does want to follow up with that. But I really want to thank you for your time today, Gil.
Thank you. I hope it comes across clearly. Not too.
I'll talk again soon.
Talk. Awesome. Okay.